Hi everybody, Sonia. Thank you for watching this video. I wanted to just want to tell you a little bit about my story and what where I was, where I am right now. So in May 14th, 2011 was the day that I had my stroke, and I was 31. And it didn't happen, like, one thing that my voice was not right. That was the first thing that I think about it. It was like, it wasn't that I was very slurred or anything like that, but my words were not right. Like, I would want to say, like, oh, hi, let me have a glass, and what would come out would be like, my cat is asleep. It was not right, and I was scared, but at the time, me and my boyfriend we didn't have a lot of money, and we didn't have insurance, and so I was kind of like, I can't afford to go to the hospital, so my voice, like, it started to come back to normal. And I was like, okay, well, I guess it was just a fluke or whatever, and that's fine. But inside, I knew that something was wrong. Like, I knew that, no, you should really go to the hospital. But I didn't. And we took our dogs, we went to the park, and, and everything is fine, And it wasn't until that night, around 10:30, I think, when Peter was like, okay, I'll be right back, I'm going to the bathroom. And when he went to the bathroom, and I was in the bedroom, and it was weird. Like, I was looking at the walls, actually, and just thinking about, like, oh, it's so fascinating, like, how these walls, like, it's just so bright and white, it's like, that's the only kind of thing that I was thinking, and Peter said that he came in and my whole right side was slanted, and he knew at that point, like, yes, I'm having a stroke and I need to go to the hospital right now. So he took me there, and I don't really remember a lot of it. I remember wanting to be so tired. Like, I wanted to just fall asleep. And Peter was like, don't fall asleep, because he didn't know. He didn't know, if it's a good or a bad thing. So he wanted me to stay awake. And I remember at the hospital, and the nurse there trying to ask me, what happened or something like that. And I remember I was looking at her and thinking, like, I have no idea what you're saying. Like, I have no idea what you're saying, and it was about 3 days, and it's like back and forth. I have, like, little memories, but the third day, or fourth day, I guess, I woke up, and I had all my friends and family. They were all there, and everyone was kind of crying, and everyone's like, you're gonna be okay. You're okay. You had a stroke, but you're fine. You're gonna be all right. And in my head, I was thinking, like, oh, all right. Well, I had a stroke. That sucks, but all right. I feel like I'm gonna be okay. And something like the reality that I had was that I was speaking fine. My arm and leg, they weren't working, but it's just because I was so tired. Like, that's what I thought, like, I'm just so tired. That's, and it's all right. I'll get rest, and then 1 week or 1 month, maybe 2 months, and I'll be fine. And that is sorry. I'm outside, so the trucks. Anyway, so that's what I really thought was happening. I thought that I could speak normally. And in reality, I think at the time I had 3 words, 2 words, 3 words, something like that. Like yes, I could say yes, but no, I would, do like that. So it was just, it's kind of a weird reality that I had, at that time. And it actually, it was like that for 6 months. But I would sleep a lot of the time. Like I would go to bed and sleep around 18 to 22 hours every day. Like I would kind of wake up and I have to go to the bathroom or or eat something and then go back to sleep. So I didn't have a lot of time to kind of think about anything. And it wasn't until 6 months later, like I said, it was I woke up and my shoulder was hurting a lot. Like my shoulder was like back, like way back, and it was hurting a lot. So I tried to come over, and it wasn't working, and finally I did. But then I'm like that's weird. Why was it doing that? And then I wanted to hop into bed, and I couldn't. Like my leg was really like it was sorry. I can do it, but it was a lot harder. And at that point, kind of like 6 months kind of swept over me, and I realized what was happening and what is happening, and I started to panic, and I went to call Peter to help me, and realized that I couldn't say his name, and I couldn't even say my name, and that was hard. I think that was the hardest of my whole recovery. That one, it was hard. And it was 6 months from there that I was into depression a lot. I was suicidal every day. And the most of the thing is that I couldn't talk. I couldn't just talk to anyone. It was, all of it was me. And it was not pleasant. I felt like I was just trapped in my body, and I'm nothing. There's nothing I could do. There's nothing I could say. That I had nothing but in this body, which is broken now, and I want to scream. I want to say something, but I can't. And that was hard, And it was in that time around when I was, I guess, 11 months in, that my shoulder started to hurt a little bit. It started to hurt, and and it started keep on hurting a lot, like as more time come on. But then at 1 year on my anniversary, I was in the bedroom and just thinking like, okay, this is my first year, and I have a lot of these, and it doesn't feel like, I don't like this anniversary a lot. And I went into the mirror, and I was doing something, and I looked at the mirror and realized that my hair, like, there's something about my hair, I can change it, I can color it, I can do whatever I want, but it's mine, and I can do whatever I want to do. And that was the first time that I think I felt that way. Like I felt like it was my hair, and I could grab it, and I could do something to it, you know? And so I called Peter, and I was like, okay, I want you to cut my hair, like to shave it. And Peter is so great, because he was like, all right, you know, so I'm like, this short, just, you know, shave it, you know, do it. And so he did. And I didn't look in the mirror at all. Like, I had my hair, my body down, and I was, you know, and then he's like, okay, you know, I'm done. And I sat up and looked at myself in the mirror, and I laughed. I started laughing. And it was like the first time in a long time that I laughed. And in my head, I was just like, I'm gonna make it. Like, I don't know how, you know, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but I can do it. You know, I think I'm gonna be okay. You know, and that was my first year. You know. But the problem at that point was my shoulder. My shoulder was hurting so much that it came down to, I don't know what they're called. You know those, like when you have your arm is broken, so you have a cast, and then you have whatever the wrap thing, so your hand is like right there. Well, I had one of those. So I would put my shoulder, like I put it like this, and my shoulder, and then I would do that whatever that thing was called, and tow it really tight, and that's what I would do. And so it was like the most, you know, I can do anything, and my shoulder would not be, you know, so hurt. And I would do it like 22, 24 hours, you know, I would be like that, but then it would hurt because, you know, your body shouldn't be like this. And so I would take it out, and, you know, so, and it was so bad that I couldn't sleep, very, very little, you know. It was like I would fall asleep a little bit, and then I would scream. I'd wake up and scream because my shoulder, like I would move a little or something like that, and it would, you know, wake me up, and it was very painful. So that was, you know, at that point it was not even like, okay, I have a stroke and I can't talk to anyone. All that kind of, I mean, that was there always, but it was more of you know, my shoulder was really hurting, and it was so bad that I was thinking, like, okay, how can I, like, my shoulder or my arm isn't working anyway, so why don't I just take it off? Like, you know, I know that a doctor wouldn't just take off my arm, you know, so I'm thinking about, okay, if I have a knife and cut it, like, you know, could I do that, and the pain of it, but you know, maybe I could do it that way. You know, I was, you know, kind of desperate to, you know, for the pain to just go away. And then, well, let me go back, sorry. Let me go back. It was about, what, 11 or 10 months where I started to look on the computer, just finding anything to, you know, something to help me to recover with my surgery. And I found this the thing from Stanford that's saying, you know, they're doing a trial, and with their stem cells treatment. And so I got the whole application, I sent it, and I didn't hear anything for, you know, it was a little more than 1 year. So going back, and I was really kind of out or very frustrated about the whole situation, and I was just thinking about killing myself because it feels like it would be a lot better for me, and then Stanford called me that day, and the nurse, and she was like, hey, we're from Stanford. We're doing this stem cell treatment. Are you still interested? And I was like, yes, I am. And so they flew me out there the next day. I had the whole day of tests and scans and MRIs and everything. And then they come down that night. They had all their information and everything, and they had 2 doctors and I think 2 nurses, and everyone was like discussing, and then the doctors left, and I was just like, so what is it? And she was like, yeah, you're in, and that was awesome. It was very exciting. So a month after that, it was May 29th, 2013 now, and I was into the gurney. Is that what this is called? I think. Anyway, and I was going into surgery, and in my head I was just like, if nothing changes, if everything is the same, but my shoulder is like the pain is go away, like that's fine. I can deal with anything else. So I went to surgery. I went out of surgery, and when I woke up, my shoulder was gone. It was gone. Like, it was the most amazing thing ever. And not only that, like I had like my words were stronger. I think a couple more words I can actually say them. My leg was stronger. I mean, before then I had a wheelchair, because I could walk, but like 10-15 minutes, and I was really tired, so I would use a wheelchair, but that after surgery I never used a wheelchair again. My arm, like, I can actually, well, it's better now, but I could do that. It was great, but then it was like, okay, then after that, it's like I still wasn't better. I still had a lot of recovery to do, and so it was like 3 years, it was 2013 to 2011. No, I'm sorry, 2016. That it was really like I work out like crazy. I was at the gym I think 5 times out of the week. I would go like 1 hour to work and then 1 hour to stretch, but I was stretching a way that where I had stretched before I had my stroke, and I would do the same thing, but only this time my body wouldn't work, like a different sense, my body had to move a certain way, and I didn't get that. So I was, I think every day or every time I would work out, then it was hard. It was, I would cry, I would get releases, I would, it was just, and all the time my recovery would be like this much, like just little, very frustrating. Sorry. But then, one thing I did have, like in that 3 years, was I had always wanted to be a mother, and um, and there was a very possibility that that would never happen. So I would ask every day, first in the morning, am I ready? Like, can I have a baby? And a lot, like every day for at least the first year or maybe 2 years, it was like no. You know, like my body was like no. You know, but I would still ask it. You know, first thing, can I have a baby? No. All right. You know, and so, and then this weird thing happened. It was like, well, maybe. You know, it would be at the, you know, first thing, can I have a baby? And it was like maybe, you know, and I would start thinking about, okay, what about this? You know, can I hold a baby? Can I change the baby? Can I, you know, whatever, you know, just a bit of a possibilities, you know, and can I do it or can I not? And if it's not, you know, how would I then kind of figure out how I could do that? And then it said, can you not have like I still would sleep a lot, you know, during the day and then at night too, and I would have naps, you know, and it was like, you know, can you do this with not a lot of sleep, you know? And that one kind of hit me because, you know, I was like, I don't, you know, I don't think it can, you know, I don't, and it was, you know, it was hard, but then I was like, you know what, maybe I could, you know, so I would, you know, start to, you know, kind of thinking about waking up more, you know, and sleeping less, and then it was that my body was like, you know, yeah, you know, I think, like, I can't think of anything else, I can't do anything, you know, I think you're ready. And it was 6 months after that I was pregnant with my son, and then he was born September 17th, 2016, and everything, you know, everything, like when he came into our lives, you know, it makes everything, you know, okay, you know, it makes me feel like, you know, I can do anything I want to do, you know, and it's gonna be okay, you know. And I've been through my meditation, or, you know, I've been figuring out like who I am now, not who I was, but who I am now, you know. And I'm stretching, but I stretch in a way that is very different than how I, you know, before I had a stroke, because my body, it, you know, it's not gonna do anything like your, you know, their natural, or the way that your body would move if everything is worked, you know. And I've had a lot of good results, you know. Like I can run, I can pick him up, you know, and he's getting heavy, okay, but I can pick him up with my right hand, you know, and carry him and do all these things. And so yeah, I think my life is very good. It's very good, and it's only getting better, you know. And so anyway, so that is my story. I think I got everything. But thank you so much for watching this. I know this video is a long one, so for any of you who watch this and you stay the whole time, I thank you very much. And I'll talk to you later. Alright, love you, bye.